Imagine your closest friend suddenly becoming your biggest critic. That's exactly what's happening between two South Asian giants right now. Today, we're diving into the dramatic cooling of Bangladesh-India relations, the geopolitical chess game that's unfolding, and how a regional organization called BIMSTEC might just be the key to preventing a diplomatic ice age.
And it's fascinating how quickly things can change, isn't it? I mean, just last year, Bangladesh and India were practically best friends in the region.
Right? And now we're seeing this complete transformation. Can you walk us through what exactly happened?
Well, it all started in August 2024. Bangladesh experienced massive student-led protests over the public service quota system. The situation became incredibly volatile. More than 300 people were killed, mostly by police action.
Oh wow, that's a significant death toll.
Yeah, and it led to something unprecedented. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, who'd been in power since 2009, suddenly resigned and fled to India.
And that's where things started getting complicated with India, right?
Exactly. The interim government that took over in Bangladesh has been demanding Hasina's extradition, but India's been, well, let's say less than cooperative.
And this isn't just about one person, is it?
Not at all. There are serious border issues too. The BSF and BGB, that's the border forces of both countries, just had talks in Dhaka about some pretty tense situations.
What kind of situations are we talking about?
They're dealing with everything from criminal attacks on border personnel to drone incursions. There's also this ongoing issue with illegal crossings and border infrastructure.
You know what's interesting? This reminds me of how the Bay of Bengal used to be this unified region under British rule.
Oh yeah, that's a fascinating historical parallel. The British Raj actually unified the entire Bay of Bengal littoral, extending all the way to Singapore and the Malacca Strait.
But now we're seeing this region becoming increasingly divided. How is Bangladesh responding to all this tension with India?
Well, they're doing something quite clever actually. They're pivoting to China. In March 2025, Chief Advisor Mohammed Yunus visited Beijing and secured some pretty impressive deals.
Oh, what kind of deals are we talking about?
We're looking at $2.1 billion in loans, investments and grants. This includes $400 million for modernizing Mongla Port and $350 million for a Chinese industrial economic zone in Chattogram.
Those are some serious numbers.
And that's not all. China's also extended duty-free access for 99% of Bangladeshi exports until 2028. They're even discussing setting up Chinese factories in textiles, pharmaceuticals, and renewable energy.
So Bangladesh is basically saying to India, hey, we've got other options?
Pretty much. And you know what's really interesting? Yunus recently made some provocative comments about India's northeastern states being landlocked.
Oh, that must have gone down well in New Delhi.
Yeah, about as well as you'd expect. But here's where BizTech comes in. It might actually be the diplomatic lifeline both countries need.
Right, the Bay of Bengal Initiative. They just had their summit in Bangkok, didn't they?
Yes, the 6th BizTech Summit just wrapped up on April 4th. The theme was Prosperous, Resilient and Open BizTech.
And what exactly is BizTech trying to achieve here?
Well, they've just adopted their first ever vision document, the Bangkok Vision 2030. It's basically a strategic blueprint for enhancing economic integration, connectivity, and human security in the region.
But how effective can this organization be when two of its key members are barely on speaking terms?
That's actually what makes BizTech so interesting right now. They just signed this major agreement on maritime transport cooperation.
What does that mean in practical terms?
It's aimed at reducing logistical bottlenecks in maritime connectivity and deepening economic integration. Think of it as forcing Bangladesh and India to keep talking, even if they're not happy about it.
Ah, so it's like making two arguing siblings sit at the same dinner table.
Exactly. And India's actually taking a leadership role here. They're setting up these BizTech centers of excellence for things like disaster management and maritime transport.
But is that enough to overcome the current tensions?
Well, there's this interesting initiative called BODI, BizTech for Organized Development of Human Resource Infrastructure. It's about skilling youth through training and scholarships.
So they're trying to build connections at the people level?
Right. India's even planning to host the first BizTech Games in 2027 and a traditional music festival.
But meanwhile, Bangladesh is cozying up to China?
Yeah, and that's causing some serious concern in New Delhi. The US Defense Intelligence Agency recently warned that China might be considering establishing a military presence in Bangladesh.
Oh, that would definitely change the game.
Though China's ambassador to Bangladesh has denied those reports. But you can see how the stakes are getting higher.
And all this is happening while they're supposed to be cooperating in BIMSTEC?
Yep. And here's another wrinkle. The Ganges water sharing treaty between India and Bangladesh expires in 2026.
That sounds like it could be another potential flashpoint.
Absolutely. Water sharing is already a sensitive issue, and with the current state of relations, those negotiations could be pretty tense.
So what's the way forward here?
Well, Bangladesh is scheduled to hold elections either late this year or early 2026. That could be a turning point.
But until then?
BIMSTEC might be the best hope for keeping dialogue open. They're establishing this BIMSTEC Chamber of Commerce and planning annual business summits.
So they're trying to let business interests override political tensions?
Exactly. And you know what's interesting? Despite all these tensions, the border security forces of both countries are still meeting regularly.
I guess some relationships are too important to completely break off.
Right. The next border security meeting is actually scheduled for March 2026 in India.
So there's still hope for reconciliation?
There has to be. These two countries share too much history, too many resources, and too many challenges to stay at odds forever.
And BIMSTEC might just be the platform they need to work things out?
It could be. You know, sometimes you need a bigger table to solve smaller problems.
That's an interesting way to look at it.
And with initiatives like the Maritime Transport Agreement, they're forced to keep talking, keep cooperating, even if the bilateral relationship is strained.
So what you're saying is, sometimes the best way to fix a broken relationship is to focus on something bigger than yourselves?
Exactly. Whether it's maritime security, disaster management, or economic integration, these challenges don't care about political tensions.
They require cooperation no matter what.
And that might be BIMSTEC's greatest contribution, keeping the dialogue going when bilateral channels are frozen.
Well, that brings us to the end of today's episode of Co-Pilot Podcasts. Sometimes the path to reconciliation isn't direct. It might just run through Bangkok.
And maybe that's exactly what the doctor ordered for these two estranged neighbors.
Thanks for joining us today as we explored this fascinating diplomatic dance in South Asia. Until next time, keep watching this space. The game is far from over.